Hey, welcome back to the channel. Do you have an original Xbox that you've recently pulled out of the closet and you are eager to play some of your favorite old games on, but you hit the eject button and the dang thing wouldn't open? Well, it seems to be a common issue right now as these drives are aging. But the good news is it's a pretty simple fix and we don't even have to open up the Xbox. It's caused by a small drive belt at the front, and it's pretty easy to get to once you're opened. So if you stick around, we'll show you how to get it done. All right, on the bench today, we have an original Xbox, an OG Xbox, fat, whatever you want to call it. This one's in real nice shape, but it came to me today because of a problem I'm seeing quite a bit these days. That's simply the tray doesn't want to open. There's a few ways to attack this. Obviously, we could disassemble the whole thing and get the drive out and dig into it and clean it up. But the reality is, the real issue is the little belt that is on the eject motor. They dry up, they get hard, and they just fail to work. Also, the drive mechanism in these particular ones has as it closes, there's a magnet. So if it's been sitting a long time, sometimes this magnet just gets stuck on our drive motor. So I'm going to show you a couple methods on how to address this, and we don't even have to open this guy up, which is real nice if it's never been cracked before. Okay, the most simple way to get into this is to use the little eject hole. And it's hard to see, but right here in this corner, right here in this edge, there is a small hole. And two of the three drives that were used in these, that actually works. There is a third drive that the hole doesn't line up with anything. So if you've ever noticed here on my workbench, there's a custom tool. And yes, it's just a heavy paper clip. And I've removed the plastic. And this is the easiest way to get into it. And that's it. From there, we can service the belt. The other way to get into it, the other way to get into it is if you use a spudger that's relatively thin and has a good hook on it, such as this one. You can see it's nice and thin and it hooks down quite a bit. So if you've got one that's sticking and you've got one that's, you can't use the paperclip method to get it open, you can actually come in, sneak it in right behind here and give it a tug, or on this side. It really doesn't matter. But when it's closed, the lid will lift just a little bit and you can get behind it. This edge is probably a little easier. And you can grab it and use the eject button to pop it open. I know I get these in a lot of times where these are just beat up, the tray, the lid, because somebody's in there with a screwdriver and they're just trying to pry it open. That never works. And the reason is, if we come back to this drive, if you put the screwdriver in here and you're hoping to lever it, the problem is the lid is right up against this edge, and the only thing you can hook against is back here. By the time you've levered it, all you've done is push this tray straight down, and it's never going to open. But you can definitely hook it, give it a tug, hit the eject button. Obviously, you need power to do that. But my preferred method, as long as you can get into it, is this. There we go. So, if we come in here with our second drive, or our secondary drive, you can see right here is that little drive belt. Now this is one of the early ones and it's the longer belt. Most of them use a shorter belt such as these, which is kind of universal. And even these belts can work on these. They're just a little snug. So the method I'm going to show on how to get this guy to work is once that drawer is open, you can see this is all open, and we can actually get in with a pair of angled tweezers, and we can get that belt off. Well, if I could see what I was doing, we could get it off and we could slip in a new one. So there's no good way to get a camera angle on this. So I'm going to turn it. I'm going to pull the microscope over and see if I can shoot it down inside to get you a better picture. And I'll be right back after I get that done. All right, I think we've got a setup where we can see the whole thing, and it's kind of peeking right into the drive. And from here, where we're at is right down into the bay right here. And you can see this is one of the short belt versions. There's our little drive. This is the motor. The small pulley is the drive motor. And the bigger pulley is our driven pulley, which is what actually ejects this tray. I'm gonna pull this tray out a little bit more, make some more room. Okay, so what we're gonna do, and while this belt doesn't look like it's in awful shape, it's came to us with this problem. So I want to put these on, get a little closer to it. And all we're going to do is we're going to use our curved tweezers. I'm going to pinch it. I'm at a bad angle. We're going to grab it. We're going to pull it over the small pulley and away from the big pulley. Just like that. Sorry. And you can see how the belt is actually deformed, and actually this one is pretty hard. So that's why our tray wasn't opening. We'll grab a new belt. Now, belts like this can be bought at Console 5 and a few other locations. I'll see if I can find some Amazon links, and I'll link them below. And if not, I'll link the Console 5 versions down below. So now, I usually just give it a little tug, a little stretch, just like if you're blowing up a balloon, but it makes it a little bit more pliable. Also, these... the real drive belts are square cut. O-rings will work, but they have a tendency of slipping a little bit more. But if it's what you have laying around the house, go ahead and use it. So now we're going to reverse the process. We're going to grab it. We're going to loop it on the big pulley first. Then reach over and put it on the small pulley. Pretty much just like that. And if all went well, we can find some power. We can plug in our Xbox. Tray's closed. Obviously, we've got the blinking light because I don't have video hooked up at the moment. And our tray ejects. No problems at all. So while this was a short one, it's kind of a current common issue, especially with these OG Xboxes. The belts, even if you only buy one at a time, are only a couple dollars. And as you can see, it's pretty simple to change. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Why don't you give us a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button while you're at it. And if you have any comments or questions, go ahead and make them down below. I respond to everything that's a true or real question, and I'll catch you on the next video. Thanks.